All right, Ray, so today's test will be I got a battery pack, apparently some kind of Japanese super, looks like a canteen. It's weird, but it's neat. It's got, you know, super lot amount of power. I'm gonna really put it through its paces today. Kind of hoping that maybe it'll also power up a Chromebook. This is our test. So on your camera, Ray, what I did was I set it for, I found the settings for the best low light exposure, so we're going to see what that happens. One problem I am noticing is processing 4K video is a lot harder than processing 10K or 1080p video. 1080p video takes like 90 minutes, maybe less than that, depending on how long the video is. So far I've tried to process the video from yesterday and it's taking all night. Well, to put together all of it, I think I messed up somewhere. I think that when you try to put 1080p video together with 4K video, when it's trying to splice it, it's something about the up conversion or the down conversion that's just really giving it a hard time. I think it's actually trying to take that 1080p video and upscale it, and it's a nightmare. So it's been running all night. I think I just wasted a night. We'll see what happens with it. All right, he didn't move this car all the way up here now. All right, better put on the flashers. I want to get hit. Where he's like, stop mentioning my name, and I was like, yeah, they won't know it's you. It kind of inspired me, Ray. I don't think I'm gonna go with the GoPro though. Yeah, they just keep moving them around. Some of them anyway. It's a definite indicator of how things are going. I mean, they are. So in my neighborhood, one of my neighbors just told me that the house across the street from me, they just sold it to an Asian woman, or an Asian woman bought it from a company, and the family that was there, the lady died. And her boyfriend was staying there with her, and he didn't have any claims on the house. And then the family came in there and they told him, you know, you got so much time to go. And so he's been back and forth. He's been back and forth. Finally he's just done with the place. He wants out. And so somehow the family, I guess they sold the house. He had so much time to get out. He's getting out. They're gonna knock it down and they're gonna put up another McMansion. This is on the 3600 block of Fontana. And I was like, I just don't see how that's gonna happen, but okay. Anyway. It's on the 3600 block of Fontana. The DPD just rolled through here and they saw this and they said, this is okay. Anyway. Times they are changing. am walking in the mud. Those are washing machines. Some kind of unit, who knows? This is the First Request soundtrack, the First Request intro, or what was I? Like, I try to gather my thoughts, and there's just so much going on, and all of a sudden my brain goes into this. It has to be mostly observation mode. Anyway, see how it goes with the 4K video. At least this time I don't have to switch between 2 and 3 different cameras. I'm going to be listening to Herb Alpert for a while. Rise. The funkiest cowboy song there is. I don't know, Atomic Dog's pretty close. It's like, why do you say Atomic Dog is a cowboy song? People line dance to it. This neighborhood has too much going on. Yeah, this thing has the built-in image stabilization, and it just kind of looks weird because it feels like I'm gliding through the world. That's how they get around the whole jitter thing that I do. So they couldn't be bothered to put in the buttons that make any kind of noise, and those signs are all faded. But yeah, I did not notice. I put a ticket in to have the crosswalk painted way back in October, and I did not notice that they had painted it. Like, I think they did this when they also did the improvement over here. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, it's like, wow, you know, the people that own this did all that. It's like, no, this whole lot, because it's a big box store. I was looking at a Not Just Bikes. They're already starting to wear that out. They just can't, you can't have nice things. But Not Just Bikes was talking about big box stores and how cities do everything in their power. They bend over backwards to make sure that these guys stay here because they mistakenly believe, or because they actually, it's the appearance that it brings jobs and prosperity to the area. When the reality is they get all these tax breaks and they get all these nice little incentives. And the other thing is the city kind of like, it's like the city and the big box store co-own the property. So all this improvement that you see here, the city paid for all of this, or most of it. And so whenever I call this stuff in, it's like I'm calling it in on the city. And the city's coming out here and fixing. The city's fixing the sidewalk. The city is painting the crosswalks. The city is putting those rocks in there to make sure that when people peel out, oh shit, new lights. I can take that one off the board. Is that the new light pole? No, that is the old light bulb. No, that's a new light bulb. Still got the learner's permit. I mean, he made it. He made it. Just not the most elegant way to make it. No, this situation with the lights. One side come on, the other side don't come on. I don't know if they got two different light sensors or they got two different timers. Might have to do with the storm too. When I come back, if it's still like that, then send it into Encore. They were out here yesterday in the same pose.
Wait for Northwest Highway.
Oh, they're two guys. I thought they were girls. Wow. My mistake. Hey, how's it going? What they're doing over here? They got the road closed off. Oh, it's because of the Shorecrest thing. I mean, they're putting in that pipe. So I'll go get some footage of that. Here we go again. We got another park light out. This one was working. All right. So I'll be holding my body cam with me the whole time. So this is out. Am I going? Yeah, I'm live. Okay, this is out, and it's by BLT 106. You got the GPS tag as well, but the light by BLT 106 is out. Ray's gonna be like, you put all of that in there? And I was like, yeah, Ray, I put all of that in there. And then a few months ago, when I first started, there was no hit on that pole. So little things. I guess I don't need this anymore. It's not like I'm walking the street. I don't know if they're going to dredge this. Wow. Okay, the canal got us. And this is all the rain did to this. All right. We are taking pictures. Oh, look at that. Something jumping. Ain't nothing but the park board. This part's clean, or clean-ish. Yep, there we go again. Something's swimming in there and it bubbles up every once. There's a couple of things swimming in there. All right. Did you get all that? But this is all just growing up. I don't know if they're trying to make that natural. Oh, I got all these people smoking cigarettes or cigars or something. I was like, so much for enjoying the fresh air, huh? What kind of bird is that? That's the, once again, I think the Huron or whatever. Well, we're gonna see what 4K in the dark looks like. But yeah, I found the settings on there. I created a custom preset for your camera now. It's for low light conditions if you ever want to use it or you just want to clear it out. I got it mostly off of Reddit and some guy's photography blog, and also just looking, I read the manual about the different things this camera can do and all the different presets. And then there's ProTune, which is for people who are like serious, like they know what they're doing. And the ProTune is basically you just manually, you can manually put the settings in that you want, exposure, everything else. I'm not that sophisticated. All I'm going to do is turn it on and point it at something. The best I can do is make sure that the preset is set for low light. Let's get right up on it so I can get the GPS coordinates. Although I thought this thing had accurate GPS, it doesn't. It gets it, that's the thing, I'm wearing a body camera, and it gets it within, I want to say about a 2-meter radius. This is 2 meters. I was like, yeah, about 20 feet. It gets me kind of close. Whereas my car's GPS is accurate within like 6 feet, like 1 meter. It's scary accurate. My car GPS has 3 decimal places, which I guess the more decimal places, the more they can pinpoint where you're at. But what I really wish the parks people would do is they would slap tags on these poles. Maybe they did that already and somebody just came in and ripped off the tags off of it. Did they go back over there? I think so. I guess I could check it real quick. Nobody's sleeping in the pipes. That was weird, huh? Well, you know. It's kind of like a capsule hotel. Funny, it took all this time and I finally got this one fixed. And then I got other ones going out. It's just like whack-a-mole. This is a weird one because I don't know if the thing turned it around or they turned it around. But it's really more of a parking lot. I said this one's out. Alright, this light pole's out. Okay, make a note. It's by marker BLT 103. Wow, okay, they need to take care of that too. Vegetation, blocking path, BLT 103. Remember the good old days when you could just walk around Bachman Lake? Yeah, that's over. And the people are screaming at the screen, why are you doing this? The parks people should be doing this. That's like, exactly. So if you think about moving to Dallas and you wonder if our parks department is up to snuff, the fact that I can show up here randomly and see these things ought to tell you something. Now the mayor sends me a newsletter talking about how great the parks in Dallas are. And I'm like, okay. I'm not gonna take your word for it. Basically the mayor in this city is just that he's a cheerleader. Doesn't really do anything. We vote for the head cheerleader. The mayor is a cheerleader. The city manager is the quarterback. The city council are the coaches. I was worried I'd be the only one here. Take the park for what it is. It's kind of clean, free fun. It would be nice to have more bathrooms and more drinking fountains, but it is what it is. And there used to be about three drinking fountains over here. There was one over there by the shelter house, one over here by the adult center, and then one where the bathroom is. And I guess ever since the pandemic, out of spite or something, they've just been turning off everywhere I go, they've turned off public. They might not have turned off the water fountain. You know, it might be that you have to put a ticket in on it. I just haven't bothered. 'Cause I'm pre-hydrated when I get here, or I'll wear camelbacks or something. So that's why I don't notice. But maybe I should start, you know, messing with it. The reason I think they turned it off is because during the pandemic they put caution tape around it, and then they also put a note that said because of the pandemic we have to turn off the, you know, the amenities. They didn't want, they didn't know what, this was the early days of COVID. They're being overly cautious. And then it feels like they just never turned it back on. You see, we already know what this is, so this is the light by BLT 133. It's always out. The next two lights, I'll just go ahead and pull off the body camera again. All right, so we got BLT 134. As you can see, the light is out here. The next light will be out as well. I've had the war anthology for 30 years now, and I thought I'd heard every song in here, and I just know a few of the songs. All right, well, you know where this is. So the lights by BLT 133, both of them are out as you're traveling westbound. I gave them exact coordinates, I gave them GPS tags, I gave them Google Maps. Every time I do something on parks, it feels like it's a damn report. And I'd file like 15 different tickets, because I can't fit all of the pictures into one ticket. Like that's the other thing that sucks about the Dallas system is you're limited to about 30 pictures. You're like, who would need to put in more than 30 pictures? And I was like, sometimes I have like 50 pictures easily. Sometimes an issue is that big. So sometimes what I've had to do is create duplicate tickets to break it up. I've had to create multiple tickets to break it up. And I say, point to this ticket. You can create as many tickets as you want. It just takes a long, still kind of takes a long damn time. Put 5 tickets in, put pictures in each one of them, link them to each other. They're going to do the same thing anyway. They're going to take all your tickets and they're going to put it in a big master ticket. That way when they close your ticket, and I'd be okay with that, except for the fact that I'll put in 15 tickets about this park, and what's going to happen is they're going to close out all of my tickets with the same comment. That's how lazy some of these guys are. I sat there and they said replace ballast. I was like, I asked you to cut vegetation in the ticket. I made it, you know, I took the time to make the ticket. You need to take the time to leave comments and tell me what's going on. So they just said replace ballast, replace ballast, replace ballast. I had like 15 tickets and they just closed them all out as replace ballast. And I'll mention that tomorrow at the meeting. Daytime footage is easier for people to see, but nighttime footage is really letting me know, because this, you see how it's popping right now. There's all these people out here. It's too hot during the day, so they come out at night, or they come out after work, they come out after dinner, and they just take a stroll at the park. And for the life of me, one of the things I can't figure out about Bachman Lake is, you know that the residents in the area love football, so why don't you give them some football fields? Like, they're having to make do with cups and cones and makeshift PVC pipe goals. If you build it, they will come. Never understood that about Bachman. It's like it's big enough to where you can have a few sports complex things on it. But you know, again, once again, I guess this, people got to ask for it. Maybe soccer fields being bring trash, but I mean, there's already trash, so what other excuse you got? Wanted to get a picture of this, and you can see that somebody's been through here with a car when they wiped out some of this erosion, but whenever it rains, this becomes just a giant mud slick. Let's see a case in point. He's trying to get through this. Thank you for coming by at this time. You're illustrating my point perfectly. So you see, he had to go around all that crap. He couldn't just go through it, and his tires just slip all over the place. And you see me walking through this, and then somebody just drove through this, and that's the thing that pisses me off. You know, it was a city employee. They saw this, just kept going. So you gotta put foot in the ass. And if it sounds like I'm complaining, it's because I keep sounding like a broken record. I keep bringing up the same things over and over again, and I get tired of it.
It happens twice.
That's a nice bike you got there. I understand is why one guy rides a bike and the other guy just walks and talks, unless they bumped into each other. That's probably what it was. I wonder what I'm going to capture on this thing. Like I said, the GoPros have never been, like I said, you can also see they fixed the lights in, and they replaced all of them except for this one. Still having problems, but at least one of them is lit. Like they replaced a lot of the sodium lights with LEDs. Last time when I was a kid, I used to bike around Bachman because I was a fat kid and I hated running. Never got good at it. Do I regret that? Not particularly. My parents always tried to make sure that I was engaged in a lot of things. Mostly, I think, just to get me out of their hair, because I was in like I said, a family of 5 kids, so they wanted to have, you know, just get him out of the house for a while. I'm just tired. This was my brother and I doing all sorts of stuff together, and we were almost close enough in age to where sometimes he and I could play in the same leagues. My brother was the athlete, though. I feel lighter. I think it's because I changed. So I took my Jackery batteries. I like my Jackery batteries, but the problem is that they used micro USB ports to charge it. And it's the technology. The micro USB was just, I hate it. It's just like Betamax or something, that transition between the better thing. So the battery that I usually keep on my back, now it's in my pack, and all my weight's centered on my hips. And I remember this from Boy Scouts, was that when you wear a backpack, the most important piece of gear on the backpack is the waistband, because it distributes the weight onto your hips, and your hips are built for taking loads. So me moving that thing from my back to my belt, it makes me feel lighter and faster, even though it's a heavier battery. The battery weighs about half a pound. It even kind of, well, I was thinking my helmet feels lighter, but I think the helmet feels lighter because, you know, honestly, I don't know. Once again, the GoPro 12 is a whole lot heavier than the Hero 5 Black that I think, was it a Hero 5 Black? Whatever I had. Every once in a while, a random Ray Stevens song appears on my thing, so I'm just laughing. So I got the streak playing in the background. So I'm focusing on 4 things. What's going on in the park? Airplane taking off. What's this guy around me looking at? Is he observing me? Ray Stevens is doing the street. Let's talk to the people. Let's talk to Ray. Let's talk to anybody who's watching. Before all of this, I would just walk and quietly observe things. Probably need to go back to that. But you see here, this is, because this is Omar Navarez's home base, he wanted to make sure this all at least looks like somebody's doing something. But with all the bright lights and the clean parking lot and the gate and making sure that people aren't, because for a while there were people just squatting their cars here. I'd come over here and there'd be a guy living out of his car, a couple people in a van. But what it obscures is that the pool ain't worked. The pool probably hasn't worked in almost a decade. I don't know what the deal is. Do they got to tear out the pool and build a new one or something? I don't know. Howdy.
Hey.
Having some kind of meeting? Yeah, okay. Maybe they got the pool open. See trucks here and that gate. Okay, they opened the pool. Makes sense. Hey, lifeguard. Thank you. I was like, hey man, thanks for doing this. I know that you could be having a whole other, like I said, I know you can have better jobs, but dealing with parents and kids pissing in the pool. The reason you say thank you is because there's a shortage. At least I was reading an article, they were talking about there's a shortage of lifeguards. There's a shortage of referees. There's a shortage of teachers. There's a shortage of mentors. And the answer is there's not really a shortage. It's just that nobody wants to deal with parents and the administration, so they just say, fuck it. Look, I'm not putting up with this. Not for how much you're paying me. Y'all want somebody to take the kids off your hands, but you don't want to pay them. And you want to give them any kind of authority. And then act surprised when they ain't got nobody wants to deal with my badass kids. I say the kids are fine. They don't want to deal with you. Hey. So far we're getting off lightly. Man, I mean, this place becomes a hotbed of activity after. Like, I'm out here at 2100 hours and there's a lot of people. The reason I keep mentioning this is because Dallas, I can't, I've been saying this for 30 years, I can't understand. I don't think the kids are out of school yet either. I think they're still taking tests this week, and then next week they're out. We have been at this for what, 45 minutes? I haven't heard a beep. But then again, I mean, this thing is loud enough, I probably hear it. But Dallas is, I mean, not Dallas, but Bachman is not a real park in the sense that what it really is it's an urban green space. And it couldn't be more urban. You got a major traffic artery running along the west side here. We got another major traffic artery. We got a state highway that runs across the north of it. You got that shit where the planes are like, oh, let's go ahead and start. In fact, after 9:30, in about 15 more minutes, they're supposed to be taking off from a different runway. That's what the way I was reading it. to mitigate the noise. And then they try to make it sound like, well, you know, the major commercial carriers, they're abiding by it. This is all private jets that are doing that. And I was like, whatever. It's noisy. It's 11 o'clock at night. What the hell is going on? Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Oh, there was a stop sign there. He completely blew through it. There is not a stop sign. And we'll probably need to put one up though. Okay, yeah. Why the hell not, right? I mean, I got time. So I guess this is parking. Okay, so I think I find it interesting that it's okay, whatever. Maybe he's trying to tell me don't come through this way, and I was like, well, I didn't know, man. All right, well, I guess I can turn off the. Howdy. All right, they got working drinking fountains for now. Wow. I'm gonna have to cut out. I'm gonna have to cut out a lot of this.
Although the bowl is small with the spine, I do really enjoy riding. Like, I think it's
wow.
You can make something up.
Well, I guess this is the case of if you build it, they will come. Hey.
That's right.
Yeah, I film and talk to more people, but I don't know if anybody wants to be, you know, on the camera or nothing. So
Yeah.
just let me know if you want me to cut you out. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Just checking it out.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet, huh?
I hope it stays that way.
Yeah, right? Yeah. We do too.
Yeah. Y'all discourage or encourage anybody to tag it?
Oh, yeah.
So, because it will get tagged. It's just a matter of time. So that's the main parking right there?
That's right.
Okay.
Main parking.
All right.
I don't know if there is anything else.
Yeah, because I was trying to walk up here and it was like it's easier to drive than it is to walk in here.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh! Did a 360.
Yeah, he's the man over there.
I got it. All right. No, I'm not good at conversation. Man, I was not expecting it. I thought this thing would be closed up by now. How to stay out of the way. There. I kind of want to weep a little bit. You gotta understand that, man. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. And the only way guys could do stuff like this was after hours. They didn't have lights. They had an empty swimming pool that was over there off of Brownwood Park. Well, these dudes got a protective equipment on. But anyway, kind of symbolic. My generation, I'm just gonna stay out of the way. I'm just watching. Oh, yeah, I guess I'll get some pictures of the signs. Strongly recommended, but not. No alcohol, drugs, or tobacco. Is that a? I didn't put the Oxford stop in there. Nobody does the Oxford stop anymore. Staff off when wet or icy. Check your park. Check your park before using. 10 p.m. So 30 minutes they're going to close this down. Okay. Going up in the way. Oh. I guess I'm missing all of the important stuff. Like I said, the problem is all I want to do is film the skate park, but I don't know. I'm sitting here like in California, I'd have to get all sorts of consent forms and stuff like that, and even here I feel like kind of creepy. I'm a damn near 50-year-old man filming this stuff. I should be filming that, but I'm looking at the erosion control they got over here. All right, to make up for me looking at the creek, I'm gonna look back over here. This is what I'm talking about. Like, you're like, who is that guy with the camera? I was like, all you have to do is ask. Man. You know, it's funny they could put this up, but they couldn't put a baseball park up. Oh well, take what you can get. Hey. See, this is what I'm talking about. Somebody's kids. God damn it. Hey, I'm gonna have to cut all this out. And you're like, and people are sitting there thinking to yourself, why would you have to cut all of this out? I was like, because I don't know what creeps are watching this. I'm the only creep that should be. I'm just filming this. I'm just trying to, this is all neat to me. But I'm thinking the wrong way. Oh, wait a minute, there's somebody smoking tobacco products. All right, then I guess this is all right. Is it tobacco products? Let's just assume that it is. Let's just assume that they heard about all the wonderful bills that the Texas House is putting out there, and they're not partaking in THC products. Well, no, I'm sitting there going around this. Like I said, they want you to drive up here, not walk up here. I understand why they put that gate there. Does the city pay for that? I mean, they're being metered by Encore, so yes. I'm too much of a grown-up now. Like I said, when I started out, we would have killed for something like this in the 80s and 90s. They'll let you know what generation's in charge now. Skate parks. I think that kid wants my attention. And you're back to the circle. It looked like they were going to have another spot where you can walk in here. And once again, they got this closed. Those don't make a lick of sense, man. Is this a push-in gate? Yeah, it's locked. But in theory, you're supposed to be able to, you can do, this is like the entry point, you can walk in. No, it's always been like that. All right. Man, that kid is getting with it. Like he was born on this equipment. All right. That makes me laugh. It's also just like the 80s and the lack of protective equipment. Oh man, there's gonna be so many stitches and blood and broken teeth on that. Builds character. I don't know. Tesla. All right. Actually talk to anybody. Nobody wanted to talk, man. They're just there to enjoy the thing. I'm just trying to be as passive as possible, and I know it looks weird. post the video if there's any flack. Probably won't be posting any video. But yeah, that was kind of neat. In the article, they called me their boots on the ground. I mean, you put a logo up here and then you tell people they can't. So maybe I'm just coming at the wrong time. Maybe if I came like an hour ago, they were getting ready to shut it down. Well, they made it across the bridge, so I guess everything's okay. So what was all this before? There was some guy that used to sell scrap. He might still be around somewhere. I think that's where that other part of that fence in the creek was. He'd take copper, iron, aluminum, whatever you had. Unfortunately, sometimes there was rumors going on that he was taking stuff from people. He was taking stuff from people of less than legal nature. How do I put this? He was taking stolen stuff. Yeah, this was all part of the scrap yard. Not, I mean, they didn't have cars, they just had metal scrap, just in piles. I guess the city rezoned or took it or whatever. But all that's gone now. Think about how we could have had that in the 80s or 90s. But the skater thing when I was growing up was like kind of an outlaw rebel thing. They were seen as an annoyance. These kids riding around on the street and with their weird skateboards that had satanic symbols and iconography, and some people had tattoos, and they were just punk culture. That, so I grew up in a lot of conservative Christian circles, and so it was a punk culture that they did not like. And then some skaters converted to Christianity. And they started having, and that I can't remember where I read it, but it was an article about how outlaws eventually become mainstream. Like organized crime was organized crime, and then they started buying all these legitimate businesses, and now organized crime is legitimate. Drug dealers had to launder all their money, and then they wound up owning a lot of places because they were laundering money, so then they became legitimate. Is that a cat or a dog? It's a cat. And I'm not complaining because it looks like they trimmed some of this. Okay. So that's coming from somebody coming down here to use. I'll leave you to it then. never thought it'd be a woman. It's probably just random people. Okay, yeah, they got a tent back here. Alright. So, anytime I see the tents, I think they're being provided by OHS, which means that there is a social worker that's coming through here and checking to make sure that, you know, they're doing everything they're supposed to be doing. Remember what I was saying about the outlaw element? You just make it legitimate. So it's going to become legitimate to camp outside. There's a big ordinance sign that says you're not supposed to do that, but they can't enforce it. It's too much. And pretty soon there'll be urbanists and policymakers sitting there talking about a new type of dwelling unit. The what would they call it? The independent dwelling unit, or the green development unit, the GDUs or something like that. And it's like, oh, it's the GDUs, that sounds neat, that sounds environmental. And it's like, no, it's just a tent and you'll be sleeping in the park. So that's how we're going to deal with the housing crisis. Is like, look, and some people will start paying for the privilege of sleeping in the park. And so all of a sudden, you'll have homeless people talking about, man, they're gentrifying our neighborhood. And you got guys living in tent cities, clean tent cities with amenities and everything, and they pay monthly fees for that. And I kid you not, it would not surprise me at all if rich people, a lot of rich people just started living like that. Man, it's like, wait, I pay you $1,000 a month? And I can sleep in a tent and all of a sudden it's pretty nice and comfortable. And it's like, I don't really need much. And they have internet and everything. Shit, I'm saying this out loud and it might happen. But you'll have rich people living in tent cities. Because they don't have to take care of the lawn. They don't have to pay that, you know, they don't have to pay a lot of utilities. The weather, the climate is pretty agreeable. And even though like the niche factor of it is like every once in a while it gets rainy or it gets lightning or something like that, and they'll be like, yeah, I toughed it out, man. Having bragging rights. Yeah, you just sleep outdoors like I did. So that's why I'm ready to do this merger and acquisition. I got grit. So and I think when it gets too extreme, they'll have some kind of shelter or something that everybody can stay in temporarily, and then they go back to the tent city. But that'd be hilarious. You got homeless people complaining, man, they gentrified the hell out of out of the park. It's like, we can't sleep anywhere. They're all sleeping in the green spaces. Is this my hour-long Chrono Trigger? What's the name of this song? It's called I think it's Corridors of Time. I remember hearing this once upon a time and I was like, I don't remember this being in the game. And I listened to it for hours and hours, studying. And this was before they had YouTube channels with study music. You just loop it on, I think it was called WinMX. You used to be able to get all the tracker files. You know, the funny irony is, I think I was the only guy in that skate park that was wearing a helmet. I mean, seriously, I was the only guy wearing a helmet. I don't think I even saw them wearing gloves. I was the only one wearing gloves. But you notice all these things. I don't want to get anybody in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. And I don't know, like I said, I didn't get consent from anybody. I didn't hardly say anything to anybody. The guy I was talking to seemed like he was the only guy that knew what he was doing or he was in charge. And he didn't ask. He was like, why are you out here with the camera? And then that's when I'd start striking up the thing, but I think this is the Chrono Trigger. They did a soundtrack, you know, Square Enix paid for an orchestra there. Maybe they didn't pay, maybe it was just fan made. Whoever it was a good orchestra. And they played all the songs from the track, I mean from the OST. So this thing's got pianos and violins and so they're getting ready to do something over here. But yeah, I just I was joking, but I just think I came up with an interesting, I know someone else is, every time I think of it, that means that 50 people have already thought about it who had free time. There is some place in some city where you can pay to live in a park, or you can live in the outdoors. But then again, rich people don't do that. They just buy houses way out in the country somewhere. But the convenience you would have here is you'd have all the city amenities, and then you would just be living in the outdoors. That might be that lady's shoes. Okay, the wire's still there. I'm gonna take a step back, because every time I've stopped, there's been somebody behind me. I'm not gonna have this camera next week. And it's like the guy was saying, he says, man, I ran this thing for 2 hours, and so far I've run this thing for about an hour and 30 minutes. No, that fence wasn't always there. They built that in the 2000s. My dad was sitting here while the railroad was coming through here and building all this up. That was the other thing. He had a homeless guy that would come by and he would say, hey, can I use your sink? And my dad would kind of let him, you know, hose off or whatever. And he'd bump into the guy over at the at Whataburger. So he seemed like he was a nice guy, just down on his luck. It's a mixed bag, man. It's just that the homeless guys we got now, they're kind of scary. Like they're not all there. And it's a weird mix. There are some people that are not all there, and then there are people that they're just trying to get by. And I'm a little leery about who to trust and who to help. Maybe we'll get more sidewalks. Maybe we'll get a bike trail. Nope, they're just gonna put pipes in. They're not gonna even repave all the bumps and scrapes and everything else. Excuse me, the potholes. Who's that weirdo with the camera? Man, I don't know. I started calling back and he said some dude with a camera was coming by here. He was wearing this weird pith helmet. He had on all his gear. I said, yeah, we know who you're talking about. I was like, oh. He's okay. I hope that's what they say. I was like, well, we'll talk to him. I was like, wait, what? That's the problem with public filming. You can do it, but you feel like a jerk doing it. So I'll ask people, I was like, hey man, you want me to take you out or you want me to stop doing this? I'll do it. I'll cut you out. I cut the dude out the other day. And even the homeless lady, she had no right to an expectation. She had no right to the expectation of privacy in a public place. And therefore, over her protestations, I could have done whatever I wanted. But I was like, I don't know her situation. I don't know the story. So I cut her out. Mostly. The dumbass, she just kept getting into my shots after I cut her out of this one part. And I was like, I have no interest in you. I'm trying to figure out why there's trash in this alley. I'm trying to figure out, you know, to get them to cut this to make this look nice. And I go back there and they got a whole village back there doing God knows what. And they got kind of nervous, which made me think they were doing something they weren't supposed to be doing, and I just happened to catch it on film. I don't know if they were having sex. I don't know if they were doing drugs. I don't know if it was a combination of the two. Something wasn't right. So I left that situation. It's been an interesting year, let's put it that way. I am 10 months into this. And remember, all I did was, I was doing this just because I was trying to get bike lanes. Why am I trying to get bike lanes? Trying to get more people to stop driving. Why am I trying to get more people to stop driving? To stop dumping CO2 in the air. And after the election, I'm just not feeling it. It feels like we just like, and I look around and I talk to people and I try to get fired up and then I try to get them fired up and then I'm not feeling it. They're not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. And so in month 10, I'm kind of disillusioned. I'm down. I'm thinking about just packing it in, you know, just, I haven't posted in about 4 or 5 days because I've been just super busy. Work's been crazy. Work's been crazy, life's been crazy. I haven't had any downtime to just sit here and just process it all. I've got Thursday video that never got posted, Friday video that never got posted, you know, and I'm just behind. I'll be behind for a long time. And I had hoped last week to get some video for the Friends of Bachman Lake, or at least let them know what the situation on the ground was. And all sorts of stuff came up last week. Basically, there's just too much going on. And there's the stuff that's been going on for months that I've been tracking, and I've been trying to put and I get pictures and put tickets in, and it's all pictures sitting in a folder waiting for me to put the report in. But I just get tired of putting the report in. And I was like, I'm fighting Public Works right now, just trying to get a crosswalk. I mean, not a crosswalk, but just trying to get the walk button fixed. 3 weeks, 4 weeks. What's going on with this? Why is this doing this? I had to make 3 calls because the 311 operators kept putting the wrong intersection in. And I was like, I want to do this on my own, but you guys tell me I have to call 311. And so I got somebody who, I'm not saying that they're incompetent, I'm saying they're overworked, because I can hear them in the background typing away, and they were looking at multiple screens. And mine wasn't the only ticket they were working on. And it's frustrating. I was like, I'm not trying to take you out of a job, but at the same time, I know how to do your job, because I've done your job for almost 30 years now. Let me cook. This is getting bigger. And it's hard to figure out who's doing this. Is it homeless guys that are doing it? It's a combination of people, I think. There's the homeless guys, and then there's, no, this is just the city. Because they pulled this out of the lake. They pulled all of this stuff out of the lake, and then they just dumped it here. And if you're a disabled person, I guess you're just going to be going around into where everybody's driving into. Maybe they weren't supposed to put this sidewalk here anyway, but it's here for people to use when they get out of their car. They can wheel up here and wheel up onto the lake. Then you got it blocked with lake debris. And then there's this. Every time I put in a request for a light, it takes 3 months, 4 months, and there's yeah, we got to replace the ballast. And I was like, I'm thinking, okay, that's what they're telling me. But then I'm talking to the park, one of the guys on the park board, and he says that shouldn't take that long. I was like, well, it is. I don't know why I'm not saying his name. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. I talked to him, he says, yeah, that's in the budget. They should have that done by now. I was like, they don't. It's different with lights. I actually went to the light place and I saw the guy, and I met the dude and I talked to him. And it's just him and a couple other people, and that's all they have to cover the big giant wheel that is DFW. I'm just one of the spokes in the wheel, and my spoke is northwest. I've been to the spoke that is west. I've heard the complaints of the people from southeast, southwest, south. People from the northwest, northeast, or the northwest, or northwest. The people from the northeast and the north don't really complain too much. They're happy with what they're getting. So like this one right here, I put in a ticket. I put in about 5 or 6 tickets about this. And the ballast at one point was down here on the ground, and I guess they moved the ballast. Oh, there's always some dude out here. Well, I guess it's a nice spot. Hey. So I didn't get any sunsets. Now, I don't know what this camera is going to catch in the low light condition, but it's flaccid. Look, you can see something swimming up here. Well, I can see something swimming up here. The weird thing is they're kind of curious about the light. When they see the light, they start swimming toward me, whatever it is. That was one of the first tickets I ever put in. That was a weird case. Not really sure what was going on. Was it just maintenance that they never finished? Or did someone genuinely try to steal something from that? It's some kind of vacuum box, and I don't know if it's like for monitoring equipment or for like the fire suppression or something. It might just be for the sprinklers. But they fixed that one in like a month. There's some footage somewhere. I didn't know I had 4,500 separate videos. I was like, I've been doing this a while, huh? But it's yeah, almost 10 years worth of video. But the way it works is there's some footage of me walking this while they were building it. That was when I had the old Hero 3. You know, I really kind of miss that. I mean, that sucker was my workhorse. I had two other action cameras. I had one that was a spy cam. That was my very first videos, was when I was a pair of glasses. And one rainstorm happened and those things were gone. I said, I guess I need something more rugged. So I then did some research, and they talked about GoPro, and I got my first GoPros. My first GoPro, this one. It's 200 bucks. It wasn't cheap. I bought it, had all the stuff in the kit, and I bought the accessory. Or no, at first I didn't buy anything. It was just a camera. I was like, well, this sucks. No, accessories sold separate, bro. I'm like, whatever, I'll come up with my own accessories. So I took a old tobacco pouch and an army belt from like World War II, and I had strapped it around my belly. And I tried to do the videos, and they were just horrible. My belly would bounce, the things would bounce all around. This was back when YouTube used to have, they used to have a thing you can use to edit videos. And they said, hey, we noticed your video's kind of shaky. Do you want to apply image stabilization? I said, yes. And the first time I did it, it was horrible. Back then, the image stabilization, like, you would stay perfectly still, but the entire world would wiggle around you. That's how weird it was. And then the video would streak and tear. I said, oh, this looks terrible. I was like, I'm not doing that again. So for a while, I had jittery video. Not for a while. People would say I still have it now, but it's even worse. It was even worse with it mounted on my belt or on my chest. And then I just broke down and I went to Amazon, bought the accessory kit. And the first thing I did was use helmet straps, or the strap mount, the helmet, the headband mount. Night and day, man. And I'd have a headband on and the head strap, and that system worked pretty well for me for a long time. But then the summers just started getting hotter and hotter, and I didn't know it was because of the climate change thing, but it was brutal. So I kept trying to find a hat that I could wear while I was doing that, and that was when they were talking about pith helmets. Some people were saying get a pith helmet, some people said get a boonie hat. I didn't like the boonie hat. I couldn't really mount it right, although now I probably would just use a head mount, the head strap, and the boonie. So I just went with it. I didn't want to wear 2 or 3 things, so I just got the pith helmet. With the pith helmet, you've got, the only thing is friction from the head, from the inner lining gets to you after a while. So at first I was wearing rags on my head to kind of mitigate that, something like what the Romans would do. This light's still out. I would do like the Romans did. They would put like a little thing on their thing, and then they would put their helmet on. A little head rag. And I was like, you know, we live in the modern era of nylon and spandex. So I bought skull caps. They had them in bulk. It was like, you can have all the ones you want for people who, I guess, wear wigs or whatever. So got a bunch of skull caps, and they have served me well. I can't remember when I bought them, so it's probably been a decade. Anytime I can't remember when I bought something, chances are it was, no, you gotta understand, the pandemic was 5 years ago. I lost 5 years. And I even said that. I said, well, nothing's gonna happen. I was like, thanks to Trump, we just lost 5 years. I hate being right sometimes. Could we have recovered faster? Sure. But you had people fighting mask mandates, and you can't tell me what to do, and that's government overreach. And that's part of why he got reelected. And like, people try to say it's the economy. Really, they just got tired of the Democrats having this holier than thou attitude, like they knew better than everyone else. And so either people sat out, or they voted for Trump out of spite. And to those people, I say, fuck you. You're getting everything you deserve. I hope it was worth it, causing the extinction of mankind. Is it gonna get that bad? I hope not. Well, like I said, I hate being right. It's not looking good. Oh, I don't think we're gonna lose, like, you know, it's like gonna be a barren wasteland or a ball or anything like that. But it's gonna be tough sledding for the next few generations. Like all the stuff that in other words, the stuff that we can do on a whim, the stuff that we can do frivolously, future generations are gonna have that. We're talking about holidays holidays will be postponed or canceled. There's going to be weird wars that last for long periods of time and tear up stuff and waste more time and lives. Oh, hello again. They're going to be hard sacrifices. And so I don't know what kind of civilization it's going to be. But in my head I can imagine it's going to be, what the hell is going on over there? I got two people synchronized turning. You know, Dallas never gives me a moment to myself. There is always something just, okay. Hey. Ah, that's what happened. I was like, what are they? Road's closed, dog. You need to turn around. Now let's see if this guy tries to go through. Road closed to through traffic. And he just ignored the sign and just kept going. So maybe they work here. Or maybe it's just because it's nighttime and you don't have to have the barricades on there all the time. But there's gonna be a lot more of that. Like, I was like, you know what? I've been on my own this time. I ain't gonna have any kind of authority to try to tell me what to do. And so it's just gonna be every man for himself. Entire communities of folks that just, you know, they go their own way. So yes, after the election, that's really all you can turn to, is you better get to know the people in your local community, because they're probably going to be the guys who are going to be on watch, who are going to be defending against other communities that, you know, they got it rougher and they're not above trying to take what they need, they you know, take what they want or take what they need. I know a lot of I watch the Andrewism videos, and I know he believes in the good of people, but it's different when you're actually down here watching it. Maybe where he's from, maybe it's different. I get the feeling around there's this tense detente. Something's getting ready to pop off, but we're just kind of waiting and seeing. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting here listening to the Webb Chapel Overture, composed by an 8-bit band. I think they're supposed to be flying out of the other side or something. I think they were saying they need to, after a certain hour, they're supposed to fly toward Denton. So those poor people over there, they built a bunch of multifamily apartments over there, and they hear this constantly. People who ain't gonna say something, or even if they do say something, they're ignored. And I don't think I'm going to put this on my mini PC. I think I'm going to try to see if I can edit this video. And I'm going to see what happens when I use a gaming box. I don't know, the video card's going to be sitting there processing the video, or it's just going to be the main processor. But the main processor I got on the gaming rig is a bad little boy anyway. It was the AMD Ryzen 9 something. I on a whim I said, you know what, it's time to stop being budget conscious, and I said, I'm buying this for me. So I bought the ultimate mini PC that Minis Forum had put out. It's supposed to have all these bells and whistles. 11090HX something. Everybody comes out with all these model numbers. I just know that it's 11th generation. HX means like high something, high extreme, or it was like for gaming laptops. I don't build towers anymore. I buy the little mini PCs, and then I rig together a little eGPU, and I call it a day. I haven't really had a need for a tower anymore, and I don't have like 15. In the old days we'd have like I had 2 DVD burners and 2 DVD burners, and I'd have like 15 hard drives. I still got a lot of hard drives, but I just plug them in externally and go with that. Trying to find a NAS array that doesn't break the bank, or a NAS, not a NAS array, but a NAS server kind of thing. Really, I'm just trying to find a thing that has like 10 hard drive bays, and I just plug them in and name them all different things. And it doesn't have to be a RAID, because what I'm saving is not like mission critical. Basically all the videos that I do here, they go in a vault, or they go in a hard drive, and I've got like 2 8 terabyte hard drives, and I'm trying to see how much a year's worth of video is. One of the requirements is I definitely will not so these people are ignoring, like I said, this guy ignored the sign that said road closed, and he just kept going. There are a bunch of people that are just doing their own thing. They see the sign, they say, that doesn't apply to me. I'm God's gift to mankind. And then they hit that. This idiot, he's actually trying to go around the pile of dirt. I'm ignoring it too, but that's because I got 2 legs. And I'm damn curious. So yeah, they know better. And I mean, as long as you leave that little gap in there before y'all left, that's people are going to do what they're going to do here. You know, what doesn't make sense here is they're tearing this out, and they're going to put in whatever they're going to put in. I hope this is part of the widening. They're going to widen this. I hope that they don't put it back and it's just the same trail that they had before. They said trail closed, and you ignored it yourself. Yep. Just trying to get footage. No, I'm just being nosy, bitch. That's what I'm good at. Mr. Rosman, I am the whole bitch. I'll let you know that right now. I don't want to be the whole bitch. I am the reluctant whole bitch. You hope, maybe they're gonna widen it out and close off a lane, and we'll all have this, and we'll sing Kumbaya, and we'll have the multipath. But I doubt it. They're just like, no man, we're just putting in a new pipe. Look at me breaking the law, defiantly walking on this thing. My mother's sobbing as they're sitting at the trial. I thought I raised him better than that. I said, Mother, you raised a criminal. You know, this would be a good place for a Highlander battle. A couple of mortals would come out. Oh, I guess not. This guy would see, he'd be witnessing it. They'll take his head too. I guess it's not isolated enough. But you look at Highlander and you're just like, they would have these weird battles in the middle of a warehouse that was shut down or something. Yeah, I mean, all the places, all the pathways I would try to take to get to work, they got them all blocked off. All right, I'm kind of lazy. And after walking that ramp at the skate park, people are like, you're fearless, aren't you? I was like, oh no, I am full of fear. Wow, okay, well, we can pull this one off the board. What does that say? I don't, you know, that's one thing, is it's going to catch it. It says Dallas City Code 31-13, sleeping in a public place. A person commits an offense within the city of Dallas if he sleeps in or does in a, what is it, sleeps or dozes. You can't even nod off a little bit. Sleeps or dozes in a street, alley, park, public place, or vacant lot adjoining a public street or highway. Person violating this ordinance are subject to a $500 fine. I was like, how are you going to collect that? Here, I'm going to write you a citation. I was like, yeah, okay. The goats make this look easy. The greatest of all time? Yes, and the actual goats. The Baphomet beauties. Or is it Baphomet? Well, at least goat porn's still legal. No, I kid. All right, you're just gonna keep your wheels rolling. So fuck me, right? Holy shit, there's a stealth car. Oh, I am really curious. How do I know it's a stealth car? It's painted flat black, and he's got the plates, and he's got the everything on there is designed to like evade detection at night. It looked like the Batmobile. Somebody really enjoys having a lead foot. That's something that cracks me up about the folks around here. They ain't got two nickels to rub together, but they put all the money into the cars. That'll be something to look out for next week. If the stealth car's still there. Or at least they fixed the walk signal button.
Wait to drive Northwest Highway.
Nah, I don't think I'll be doing that. Alright, I guess I better turn on the lights. We even got the turning lane blocked off so that you don't try to turn into this. Road closed. It is 22:20. There's still a lot of assholes out here. This one here, he can't read. Nope, you're not going that way, buddy. I guess we're making a U-turn. Sweet. Man, there are a lot of assholes out here. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, whatever. Now you're using your turn signal. It's just little things. Oh yeah, we were gonna check. Okay, so as I'm coming back through here, and I keep putting in tickets saying it don't work, and it works. It's just, but as you can see on the camera, these lights are all over the place. They are, the timer, I don't know if it's a timer or a sensor, I think it's a timer, and the timers are off. Why would you turn on street lights at 9? But maybe it's some kind of like energy saving strategy where they think there's just enough dusk light to where you only have to turn one side on, and then as it gets deeper in the evening they turn the other side on. I don't know. Anyway, they're all working. No, most places they don't get their deliveries until, well, we used to do it on Thursdays. It was a weird system because it was, you would get your like the company even owned the groceries, and they would send the refrigerated truck, and then every store, you know, they would order it, but they had to, like, they would keep like a tab that this is how much you owe the company. We're not talking about independent franchises. We're talking about several stores that were owned by a group, and that group would buy the, I don't know who they bought the groceries for. I don't know if they bought it from Domino's proper, or there was some other company. But they would get all the tomato sauce and the cheese and the, it was all Domino's approved stuff. We get the dough. We can get all the pre-cooked stuff like the kickers, the wings, all the bread products we made, like we would just make from the pizza dough. You'd slice it in half, and then you'd put the little thing that would cut it into the separate, like the little it was a blade that had a, it looked like a gear. I guess you call it the perforator. And you slice the perforator in there. I think it was like 10 of them or something like that. The cheesy bread, you would just, you get this big old giant, you get this the squeeze bottle, and the squeeze bottle would have butter in it. You just butter the hell out of it, and then you would take a handful of cheese, because you always had to make sure the food costs would keep up. A handful of cheese, sprinkle that across. You can go crazy on the butter, but monitor your cheese. I mean, they didn't really get on us about the cheese, I guess because they like, cheese was so cheap. You could just burn, you could blow through it. They didn't care. I got so fat at that job. People would order. The crazy thing that would happen a lot is people would order pizzas and then just not pick them up. So you just sit there with a pie that was like hours old. Sometimes they would delivery drive, and the person wasn't there to pick it up, or the person would refuse the pizza, so they'd bring it back. And they were just going to throw it out anyway, so we just eat it. I ate so much pizza. This is before I started counting calories, and so I was just like, I walked every day, I was fine. I was like, yeah, whatever. And I ballooned up to 275 after being like 230 for a long time. And when I left that job, I got pissed off. Had a bad situation happen with love, and I said, you know what? I'm tired of always being the same. I'm gonna make a change. So I lost a bunch. I lost a lot more weight. Yeah, this is a scam. Real estate investor seeks apprentice, whatever. My neighborhood's like that though. It's just what I feel like is sometimes I feel like I live in that town from Blazing Saddles. I feel like everybody here is named Johnson. They're all a bunch of inbred morons sometimes. So the truck's still here. One thing you hope is that's not like the air conditioning units that they're going to put into the apartment complex and somebody walks off with that. Is the guy sleeping in the back? Man, something is really bleeding water. This is crazy. What is going on? It smells too. Wonder where it's coming from. Stupid phone just says, okay, hey, I know you're in an emergency situation, but I don't care. Fucking damn it. Oh, no, 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 no. Man, I hate this. I'm trying to call. Water leak. What? We seem to be having a problem. Caesar, I'm calling in a water leak. It's leaking all over the place. 3627 Almazon. Looks like the... Yeah, do you hear like a bubbling sound coming through my headphones? Probably not, because some jackass had his muffler off. Let me put you on speaker. It's coming from the meter. Like there's a meter cover. It's closed, but it's just water just gushing out of it, like the line busted. I am not. Just a citizen on the scene. Yes. All right, but it's leaking all over the street. No, I'm just a guy walking by and I see this thing leaking water all in the street. Sure. See, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, like, it's not urgent. So there's just millions of gallons, or there's gallons, you know, thousands of gallons of water just being wasted, and you don't see anything wrong with it. Turn this off. I'm really broadcasting loud here. Well, I guess I don't have to be here. It's leaking about a gallon every 5 seconds. It's coming out of there. All right. Okay. I mean, no, Caesar, I know, man. You got a rough job, man. So I appreciate you guys being on the front line. I know you're catching a lot of stuff going on. It's not you. It's just I get tired of Dallas telling me what they can't do, and you know, it's just a waste of water. But thanks again. Take care, Caesar. No problem. You too, sir. And that's why humanity's doomed. Here I am trying to take responsibility, and then they're telling me, well, and I was like, I don't know who to call. I take that back. There is one guy I could call. There's a guy who knows this guy, but it's so late at night, there's no way I'll be able to get him. Plus he's 70-something years old, and I think he tends to sundown on me. Yep, it's always something. Buenas noches. I guess the neighborhood's not as bad as I think it is. Here it is, damn near 11 o'clock at night, and I'm over here walking around. People are walking their dogs. Sorry. Got them spooked. All right, no sudden movements. Look, sorry, the light. Take care, sir. Oh. I wonder how far I've walked. You know, it used to be that I would do like 8 miles and I would think that, man, that's a lot. And now it's just, I do 8 miles and it's like, it's Tuesday. Yeah, I don't think this neighborhood is going to be the same in 5 years, man. Like I said, Manny sold his or got the house sold out from under him, and they got rid of Brady and his crew. It's like it just uncorked all of the bad that was in here. Like they're cutting out. This is going to be flattened soon. And they were telling me they're just waiting for the permits. And then that was what Dallas did, was they bragged that we got a new permitting system that is going to get this quick. And if it looks like they're pulling out of the Strong Towns playbook. They made the permitting process more streamlined. They got rid of the zoning laws. They got rid of the parking minimums. There's a couple other things on the list that I need to look at again, but it was last night I was watching the video and I was like, well, Dallas is doing all that stuff on the checklist. So congratulations, Strong Towns. I guess you guys are having quite the moment. I think I'll know that Strong Towns has really made it when you start seeing like tons of elected officials, like, you know, just this, that are Strong Towns members. It'd be like you know, Roosevelt and the New Deal guys, people, that whole society. Roosevelt was actually part of a group that came out of New York. I think it was New York. It was one of those places. It was a big city, and they were talking about how people were living in communities and everybody watched out for each other, and they were their own charity. And a lot of ideals sprang forth out of this, and those are the ideals that formed the New Deal, along with a lot of socialist programs. It's the weirdest thing that America flirts with socialism. It knows it needs to become socialism to survive, but there's this dug-in element that just brainwash. It's like a tumor. It brainwashes the people. It's got them. It's messing up their brains to where they can't see the obvious benefits. And they have to use all of these tools, racism, you know, the bullshit belief in rugged individualism, to try to sell their thing. Like the guy was talking about yesterday on the John Oliver was talking about the people who, which was something American Defense League or something like that, about they're basically going after trans people and LGBTQ. And if you have to lie to get your agenda to work, then it's not worth it.